Good evening and welcome back to Raging Rolls. After a long week in between sessions, I think I at least speak for myself to say I'm very excited to jump back into where we left off in our fight against the Hags of the Feywild. Now, for those at home who weren't able to catch last week, and a recap for those that were, the players found themselves at the end of their epic fight rushing through the forest to find out what was happening with the magic that turned the air into this absolute desolation of physics. Clouds falling out of the sky, everything around them falling apart. These specters, these ghosts floating slowly towards the origin of the spell. As the party investigated, finding more information, it seems that some people were more affected than others, and a few more unable to handle the weight and the impact of whatever the spell was doing were passing away. In that moment, those that are observant enough can catch a glimpse of the spectre floating from the body of the fallen person and floating towards the center of the spell origin in the castle itself. And it is inside this castle protection that the party managed to find themselves. Half of them, at the very least. Half of the party found their way through with a guide, making their way through without triggering any of the defenses. Unluckily, though, there were a few who disregarded magical protection. Dimension dooring into the space caused a disruption in the dimension door itself, locking the three of them inside this realm between dimensions. That is where they realized what was at stake. In front of them was Anubis and Gragnell, locked in combat. Gragnell, a visage of horror, limbs flailing as batons, slamming against the might of Anubis, who, although battered, was not stepping aside, was not giving any ground, and was straining under the pressure as he fought to keep Gragnell from destroying all of the Feywild. As you see this and look towards the origin point of the magic, you notice that whatever is happening, you can see now clear as day, lit up by the souls that are traveling there, and the magic itself at the center, a bright, sort of transparent view in this current state, this emanation of the spell circle. As the souls reach it, it grows ever so slightly brighter, each soul an increment towards an unknown horror that would surely befall all of the Feywild if it was not stopped. And with that, we'll jump into tonight's introduction video, and we'll jump into it when we get back. And we are back. Now, with that in mind, the last thing that I've been clarified on was, as mentioned, stuck in the realm between realms. The party split, found some of them venturing further into the palace than others. It seems that given their privilege sitting outside of the space, they could traverse unhindered getting advanced notice of things to come and being able to just nudge the party in the right direction. So, Archie the Chad, you now sit in the center of this massive space. You see the echoing lightning of the chasm that is formed below. You see that this is where that magic is coalescing. Deep in its belly, you can see the shimmer of each soul as it hits the cohesive whole of this magic. Tell me, how does it feel standing in the center of all this, watching these witches befoul magic itself in this space?
She feels both horrified and in awe of what he's seeing right now, with the mass amount of arcane lightning and things flowing around. He looks to each of these witches around the place, sees what they're doing, and he can feel his half missing arm sort of spring to life, and straight away he's going to try and cast Counterspell.
As you cast your Counterspell, pushing all of this magic into the spell as you can, trying to disrupt it, you feel a shimmer in the sort of facade that is the space between worlds as the gap attempts to sort of open, as if like revealing a entryway back into reality, as it just slams back shut. Whatever is creating this space, whatever magic is manifesting this little realm, is immensely powerful.
I look around. Do you see this? Well, do something.
Arm's bewildered. Something? Hey, this is beyond bloody helping people at the temple.
You feel a tremor as Anubis is knocked backwards, holding his staff. The whole area just shakes. A shockwave emanates, almost knocking you all on your feet.
As Anubis gets thumped and falls backwards, I feel like a bit of a connection to him. I don't take like damage, but I feel the impact a little bit. And it kind of shakes me a little bit. I've never been in such close proximity to him in this way.
You feel that running through you as you watch this deity that you've worshipped sort of fighting off this enemy, this unknown enemy. As you see Gragnell approach, you see Anubis step up, and with a massive swing, you see his weapon glide through the air. This shimmering path of this energy that you've seen in this other dimension too shimmers out of Anubis's strike as it pummels towards Gragnell, who takes the impact on, limbs flailing out, disconnecting from the mass that is the whole of Gragnell, splattering across the space, disappearing into the mists of magic. More arms grow to replace those that were lost.
Can we see what sort of connection there is between what the witches are doing and the battle?
It seems that if you could imagine these two sort of giant creatures, like Jaegers, you know, in the sense of the scale, you're looking up at them over the sort of center point, which is this glowing space that's now around you, right? So the fight itself is coalescing on top of this magic site.
I turn to... Oh, I was just going to say, I was turn to Rafe, be like, where'd Flint go? Never mind. Well, as a chef, I feel it's my right to say, out of the fire into the frying pan, let's go! And I'll start charging in.
Well,
As
you
approach,
butchered that.
A glowing...
Hey, I'm not a fucking poet.
A glow begins to emanate in front of you. Those who are in the material plane still looking across, you see this being made of pure energy standing between you and the entrance to the palace proper.
Inside this thing, like these, how many witches do I see? Two.
Two. It's the remaining two, right?
And do they look physical to me or more ghostly?
No, again, more of a gist, right? Like you can make out their shape, but it almost feels like it's made out of magic. There's a disconnect between the physical reality.
Okay.
Like
I
a
wanna
low
look-
opacity. Like a
I
very
want to
low
look at
opacity.
one and just like the sheer force and surroundings. Archie grabs his head and starts to kind of wail and it's like, get back! As he looks up at one of them and casts Psychic Lance on one of them.
Ooh, interesting.
Nice.
Okay. Let's look at it like this. We'll go ahead and let you roll. So is it a hit?
Intelligence save.
Int save from the witch. All right. Let's say int is
Your rolls are 72.
Yeah.
an 8. So I imagine that does hit.
Does hit. Now, would you say they are whereabouts?
Let's get them on the map for you, shall we? I'll put 2 placeholders now, but I know I do have the actual images somewhere. It's just not coming up in my search. There you go. So those are sort of the 2 locations of the witches, one in each of these sort of alcoves.
Okay, so I'm firing at this one in the left corner at 10 o'clock. So that's going to take, hang on. It's 23 psychic damage.
Nice. And now divide that by 10.
I'm sorry, what?
2.3. As your spells pierces through, slowing down the energy like molasses. As you again see the shimmer as it breaks apart this shell of whatever is holding together the space. A small sliver of the psychic lance manages to make itself through. A pinprick, a bee sting, strikes the witch, feeling a little bit of like headache, but quickly recovering. The magic continues.
Archie
Maybe she's
sort of
allergic
crumbles
to
down to the
bees.
knee. Is like trying to recover from that.
Hey, Rafe. Are we gonna take on this glowy thing, or are we just gonna walk just straight past it? I reckon we should just try to walk straight past it. I mean, it's all
glows
glowing and shit.
menacingly.
I see. Now it's glowing menacingly. I don't like that. I think, it's just you and me. I don't know where everyone else is.
You just hear this thing as its mouth opens.
Oh shit! It thinks it can sing too. That's even worse. Oh,
haunting wail emanates from deep within its core.
or we gonna go straight in. We're gonna go full Leroy Jenkins, the great Fey warrior of our time.
Slowly drifts forward.
I was going to say, it knows that we're here, and I'd rather be trying to take it
Yep.
down than it and witches be bitches.
All right. Well, let's do this then. And I will step up to this thing so that
Yeah.
I am within at least 60 feet.
Cool.
You go, you good thing.
And then
As you
and
guys
I'm
are
going to reach
approaching
out to
it,
it. Whoop.
hang on. The team World Between Worlds, you guys notice this beacon go off of this energy from where this thing is now on the map, inside of your space. You see somehow this energy has coalesced in this World Between Worlds in the exact location of whatever your party is facing. Does that make sense? You can sort of see its energy in this space.
Gotcha.
Cool. So with that in mind,
As a step up.
go ahead.
Is that him? Oh, as I step up, I was going to be like, hey, we could fight. We probably win. You'd be very upset, and it'll just be a bad time for you. So why don't you, turn around, go away, and we don't have to, go through all this hassle. And I'm going to use my panache to try to charm it. So I have to roll an insight check versus my my persuasion check.
Which check, sorry?
Persuasion.
What do
You
I
have
have
to
to
roll
do?
an insight check versus.
Insight.
You have to roll a insight check,
Insight. Let's go.
and you have to you have to beat a 30 with a natural 20. Oh! But with my modifier,
is.
it makes it a 30.
It's 30.
With my
I think
modifier, it
I
makes
think
it a
this
30.
thing saves, doesn't it?
And it rolled a 20, right?
Yeah,
I mean-
it rolled that.
It
Wow.
rolled a natural 20, but I rolled a natural 20, but I have a plus 10
You
to
have
my
plus
persuasion,
10.
which makes it
Oh
a 30.
yeah, you win. You still win. No, I'm definitely gonna give
Okay,
you just
cool.
the over the top winning. That's fine. Like I know in a roll
So
where
what
two people roll
happens?
nats, the bigger nat
Disadvantage
20s wins.
until one
Yeah,
of your
so I
companions
put the
attacks it.
specifications for. Yeah, so I put the specifications for the panache thing into Foundry, and I can't believe that fucking worked.
I was pretty exceptional. I mean, out of 30, it's pretty good. You see, as you are approaching this creature, its hostility seems to disappear. Its sort of relentless pursuit stops. It begins to seemingly radiate just a little bit less. And if you're in the realm between realms, you see this sort of energy begin to shrink again. And those of you who are in the material plane watch as its head sort of falls off like liquid, draining into the rest of its body as it reforms a head and lands on the ground. Some of its sort of natural energy sort of simmering down for the meantime. It looks over to you as the group, and it says, "I did not realize I was dealing with a group of individuals quite as interesting as you. Findry Flattop, I presume?
That's us.
You have been
Oh, I see my
Case.
reputation precedes me.
Gragnell has wanted to meet you for some time.
I think he's definitely going to meet some parts of me, mostly my fry pan.
All come to Gragnell in time. Remembering that even losing those arms of yours in battle is not enough to keep them out of the clutches of Gragnell.
Yeah, see, I'm already kind of pretty tight with another god. So his name's Anubis. You might have heard of him. He's pretty dope. And sorry, but I can't double time it with another god. So it's gonna stick with Anubis. Take out Gragnell. You know how it be.
Fenry, as a friend, I want you to know that you should probably just join Gragnell's side. I find you
See,
so immensely charming sometimes, and it's just hard for me to imagine that you're going to go off there and hurt yourself by not going with the obvious winner here. It's a sure thing, Fenry. I'd only bring in my closest friend.
how about this? Why don't you take Rafe and I, and we'll go see the Hags and Gragnell, and we'll go talk about it. We'll go, weigh our options. Be a bit more civil about this. We don't have to go, all the violent route with things. We can just go and have a conversation.
If you were a real friend, you know that I'm married to my job, Fenry. I love what I do, standing menacingly preventing access to important objectives. It is my pride and joy.
Oh, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. But well, why don't you at least point us in the direction, and we'll leave you to it, so you can stop anyone else who comes
That
past.
way.
You can do your
Points
job.
like towards the outside of the ring, away from the palace.
Oh, see now, friends don't lie to each other. Come on, we know there's somewhere behind you. We know there's somewhere behind you.
I have been told by some friends that I do tend to be a bit narcissistic.
Yeah, well, it's it's that internal glow, that radiant glow that comes off you. It is really nice to look at.
Listen,
and you are pretty
I
cool.
believe that true
I had that whole
friendship
glowy thing.
True friendship is compromise. How about you give your soul and future to Gragnell, and I'll let you cross the bridge.
What was that second part? Sorry.
Soul and future. Future.
So soul and future, yeah, and then the second part.
To Gragnell.
And then he'll let you cross
No,
the bridge.
I
He's
look
like,
Yes, now cross the bridge.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah. Can I sneakily put my hand behind my back and cross my fingers? I will totally do that. I will give myself heart and soul, and I've got the fingers crossed behind my back, so I'm not being sincere. But they don't know that. I can roll whatever check you need me to do. But I will give my heart and soul to Gragnell if you show me the way and let us across the bridge.
Anubis can't hear, he can't believe the words that are coming out of the mouth of Finri at the moment. Heart and soul to Gragnell. He's getting a little bit infuriated by this. Starts running up towards. Starts yelling at Finri a little bit. Finri, what do you mean, heart and soul to Gragnell?
You don't hear
I
anything.
can't hear him. Yeah.
Finri. Just like another bloody
Yep,
Finri
heart and
abandoning
soul,
me.
everything. I'll give him all 3 inches of myself if that's what it requires. Whatever Gragnell wants, he'll get. If you just let us pass you on the bridge, you point us in the direction that we
Finri,
need to go, and we'll
As
go.
a friend,
Yes.
it brings me great joy to know that you finally come to terms with the majesty that is Gragnell's empire.
Something about all those limbs. Just
it has always done it for me, so I get it. But in this particular instance, as you well know, the traditional ceremony of joining Gragnell's church is giving of oneself. So, which limb would you like to give first?
Oh no! If I am to do this, I would like to do it before Gragnell himself.
That is literally impossible. Have you done religion before? Like, you don't get to the big guy until you've sort of jumped through some hoops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been in
really
this
how
sort
it
of
went last
career
time.
trajectory for quite a number of years. I started as a lowly glowing peon, and I had to sort of.
I mean,
work
if
my
he
way
already
up.
knows my name, I'm pretty sure he'd prefer to, that I would do it in front of him, prostrate myself, as it were, and give him the limb. And I would like him to choose which of my limbs he would like.
Right.
Because I'm going in whole heart, let's do this.
You know what?
You know,
I think you
Go
do.
Team Gragnell.
You do raise an interesting proposition, and I would never normally consider this as. I think most of the people I stop here, I tend to try and murder. But for you, I think I could do it. If it's truly what you want, given that you're here and Gragnell's trying to sort of make Anubis jealous, you prostrating yourself in front of Gragnell, in front of Anubis, would be quite rewarding, I imagine, for Gragnell's plan. Is that still on the cards?
Let's do it. Let's.
Oh, fantastic!
100%. Let's do this. Let's show that the fingers behind my back are like just clasped tight. If Rafe can see them,
Would you
they're
like to
going
hold my
bone white.
hand and I will
Just-
take you to Gragnell?
Let's do this. Come on, Rafe. We're gonna go see Greg now. It's gonna be great.
I don't care about Rafe.
I've
He only wants
snuck
to
off
see
a little
you.
bit.
Rafe's gone.
Oh, okay. Well, let's. I turn around.
On your
all
own.
that's going through Finger's head right now is shit. Let's do this. Yeah.
Hand extended.
I'll grab their hands. And
You
I'll
two
start
immediately
walking.
disappear. And
Fuck.
you find yourself now. Okay, so this is what's happening, right? Just so that we make sure we've got the meta layers all correct. So we've got at a level a plane of existence in which the gods are currently fighting, right? They are fighting in a different plane to the material plane. The material plane is where the party was, where the Feywild is. Now there's the realm between realms, which is interfacing between these two layers. So now we have the party split across 3 realms instead of just 2 realms, because we were in 1.5 and 1, and now we're in 1.
We'd like to make it
and
difficult
2.
for you, Robin.
Oh,
So,
God.
so this is exciting times.
We like to make it difficult for
This is
you.
a level of shenanigans I didn't have to pass in preparation for this session because I didn't think somebody would.
We're
be
playing
able
3D chess.
to take them to a god.
Hey, I literally read this class feature like 5 minutes before we started streaming, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder this will work on something."
So as the party, and thank you so much, Dave, for your illustrations. Without it, I don't think we would have been able to keep up with that one.
I'm just trying to keep up, brother.
Maybe I should have whiteboarded this out, like really mapped out all the complexity. But given this is all happening, there is a scene that unfolds for those of you in the realm between realms. The gods stop. The fighting stops. You see what would have been another one of these devastating blows is ended. Whatever is bringing them here stops mattering, and they seem to disappear from the space between realms. Their presence, their energy, their whatever was keeping them here doesn't seem to happen anymore, and you find yourself utterly alone inside of the space, except for now the ritual itself, which is the only thing now that remains that's drawing that kind of attention, with both the creature at the front gone and the 2 gods gone. Now, Fenry, you have landed in a very famous setting in my setting that I haven't been able to bring out in many years. It is the Gods Amphitheater. And the Amphitheater of the Gods is this single place where the entire pantheon has devoted to neutrality, and it is where they govern, and it is where each of the domains come together to sort of make sure that they keep themselves in balance and that one of them isn't running away with the balance of the world. And so in this space you have just been summoned to, you see around you these epic steps made of this like Greek stone that is just layered, creating these steps leading off into the distance. Scattered through the space as reality seems to shift, you can almost see endlessly, like there's football fields of distance leading you through the stairs, and scattered throughout these almost infinite seats are several creations and beings that you do not understand, you do not comprehend, and the more you look at them, the more you start being unable to even understand your own place in the universe. It gives you a extreme sense of existential crisis. These things defy everything you've known to be true, and as a result begin undermining the very values that underpin who you've built your character on. In this space, you see Anubis now look down at you, towering over you, a brooding cloud of anger across his face. A stone cold expression as he gazes down at you, Gragnell sitting triumphantly, legs by the hundreds, leisurely draped over the seats, watching as you enter the space.
Oh my god, hi! Gragnell. Wow. You're so much more splendiferous than I thought you would be.
Kneel! And you feel the force of 1,000 planets bearing down upon you as your body can do nothing but obey this being of utter destruction that has now stood in front of you. You dare come into my domain, throwing yourself in front of me like a pitiful animal.
Well, what I heard was that you wanted to see me.
I want to see you grovel, Finry.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. And what I'm gonna do is I will begin to prostrate myself, and then I'm going to, as I rise up, I'm going to cast Ray of Sickness at Gragnell. With a 20 to hit.
Your spell
As I
doesn't
come back
even
up,
get a chance
And
to
it's like,
go
fuck
off.
you! It's like, Anubis for life!
Anubis, it seems that this is the best your people could do.
Hey, I got myself in front of you, didn't I? You're not so big and powerful. You're interested in me? I'm just a fucking chef. I'm just a fucking chef, and you were interested in me? What did it say about you?
You disappear from the space. You feel yourself just plummeting towards the ground. You feel yourself heating up as your speed of re-entry into the atmosphere begins to burn you. You're starting to take massive burns as your arm begins to...
Let me know as soon as Archie can see him, if possible.
And can I just continuously just like use the cantrip, spare the dying? I just keep casting on myself.
So the Fenrir is falling back to the mortal plane.
Okay, right.
I'm going through realms.
You do have the chance to see his like energy, but it's whether that makes a difference.
How many d6 per 10 feet?
Considering the speed is the speed of the downforce of a god, I think it doesn't really matter.
How big would the crater be?
Oh, it would be called Fenrir's Crater, and that's kind of a fitting ending. As Fenrir just plummets towards the ground, it is with the last instance that is there anybody that wants to do something?
Can I be casting Spare the Dying on myself?
Oh yeah, you can definitely try. And
so that when I hit
this inevitable fate.
Well, because that way I just go instead of just insta death, it's just like I'm just an unconscious body.
All right, hit it. As you
I'll just.
You guys who are around observe that there is but naught of a splashed bunny left on the impact site. The round impact hole is not deep, but it is wide enough for the silhouette of the rabbit, and it does create a significant indent with scorch marks into the area around it.
Can I try something before he hits the ground?
Yes, it will negate such a wonderful description. You're welcome to.
Well, we've heard the description. It was lovely.
But but depends if Dave can see him.
Can I see him?
So you can see his energy, but again, imagine that anything you try to do to him will be diminished by about tenfold.
Okay. I'm going to banish him.
Okay.
That will That will
Oh,
eliminate.
yes!
If I banish him, it'll eliminate the falling force.
All right, let's give it a whirl.
We've got
shall we?
another. Have we got another plane of existence? Are we up to
Well,
4?
we're about to
I might-
find one, aren't we?
What I might do is, if I banish him from where he is, he would suddenly appear within that same space. But because he's appearing, he wouldn't have the speed. And then,
Yeah.
if I choose to, I can choose to end it early, and he reappears.
Bam's back.
Yeah.
And
So
wait, if I'm native to the Feywild, does that just bamf me to the harmless demi-plane, or does that bamf me to somewhere else?
if you're native to
I
a
think you
different
should
plane,
have
you
2
go
banishment.
somewhere else. So if you're native to a different plane, you go to your home plane. If you're native to the plane of existence you're on, your banished target goes to a harmless demi-plane. So if you're native to the
I mean,
Fae,
can't-
where in the Fae, you go to a harmless demi-plane for a moment.
Right. So you're okay.
I almost wish we had Gloria here, and then we could do like multiple dimension doors and basically like portal Finry through.
Yeah, as the spell channels towards you, you are hit with 1/10 of a banishment. Now, that is a division that I was not taught in maths.
Just his third leg banishment.
That would
Hey
be
Siri, what's 1/10 of a banishment?
It was one. Well, I'm trying to think of like if you were back in school, you know, there's like different levels of punishment. I know we had like a yellow dot, a red dot, a black dot, and then like you were expelled, like was the worst thing. But suspended was just before. So I think like you'd be given like a little yellow dot. So it's like not enough to take you out of the realm, but enough to make you know that you should have been out of the realm. You know, it's like you felt like a part of you was just a little bit outside of yourself for a moment. Before
Out
you
of body experience.
splutter to your
Splatter.
death, inevitably ending the Finry Empire. Now, the joy and suffering of an Anubis follower is an uncomfortable proximity to death. I think everybody that follows Anubis becomes a bit numb to it after a while, because any good service to Anubis means that even a cat would be jealous of the amount of lives that can sometimes be bestowed. And in this moment, the bravery bestowed by Finry, as he was in front of Gragnell, defiant even in front of such a great difference in power, grants you this boon. As your body splatters, it crawls back together. The flesh itself, worms knitting themselves back into a cohesive whole that is Finry Flathop, the Returned.
I stand up, wipe the bit of blood from my mouth. I didn't hear no fucking bell.
Finny looks like just like a slightly mashed up mid-journey render.
Yeah, So it literally looks like my Discord picture, just like the disturbing-looking rabbit.
Oh,
Then he
God.
starts looking for Rafe, and we'll continue doing that whilst I. Oh God, fucking hell.
Yeah, so I think with that, it's a good point to pause for a quick bio break before we jump into the next chapter, and then we'll see exactly what further dimensions we take ourselves in during tonight's show.
Holy crap.
All right, back in a few, yeah?
Back for you. See you guys.